Mr. President, I thank my colleague from Maryland and second the comments that she's made about the status of our employees who've been jeopardized, and I am excited to work together on the legislation that was introduced last Friday to provide them some protection. But I do rise on behalf of an amendment that will be voted on within the next hour, Kaine Amendment 2118, which is a bipartisan amendment to the Every Child Achieves Act, and it's an amendment to promote career readiness indicators and make sure that our students, when they finish high school, are not just ready for college, but they're ready for careers. And this is part of a series of amendments that I've worked on a bipartisan basis, some of which have been included in the underlying bill, one of which was passed by floor amendment last week. I thank the bill managers, Senators Alexander and Murray, for working together to support this bipartisan amendment. We need to work to make sure that we help all of our students graduate from high school ready for post-secondary education and workforce. Over the past 40 years, the percentage of jobs that require some form of post-secondary education has doubled from 29% now to nearly 60%. But the education system hasn't kept pace with the demand for a more highly educated and skilled workforce. And importantly, we need to define what that is, highly educated and skilled, to incorporate career and technical training, which for a variety of reasons in the last generation or so was sort of an undervalued part of the spectrum of American public education. Within a very few years, by 2020, when our pages are now going to be out in the workforce, 2/3 of jobs will require at least some form of post-secondary education, but projections demonstrate that as a nation we will fall short by nearly 5 million workers. And we're already seeing these shortages and having to deal with them, for example, through specialty visas. That's fine for the economy, but wouldn't it be better if we could train those who are in school right now to be skilled in the areas where the jobs are needed? The Career Readiness Amendment addresses this problem by encouraging, not requiring, encouraging states to include in their accountability systems the types of indicators that demonstrate students are ready for post-secondary education and the workforce. These indicators would include state-designed measures to integrate rigorous academics, work-based learning, and career and technical education, or technical skill attainment and placement, and that will be the core of this bill. By doing this, we send a strong message to schools, businesses, parents, and students that it's critical to be prepared for the workforce of the 21st century, regardless of post-secondary education plans. And as I've talked to educators and counselors and parents, they've often commented upon the degree to which career and technical training is sort of downgraded. Students aren't encouraged in that area, even though there's great professions to achieve in this area. Under the amendment, schools and districts would have an incentive to partner with businesses and industries to provide career pathways for students. And it's important for state accountability systems. I say this as a Virginian, very proud of the Virginia accountability system. It's currently kind of managed by my wife, who's the Secretary of Education in Virginia. But it's important for these systems to measure and reward schools for helping students earn industry-recognized credentials or earn credit for college while in high school. Mr. President, just an example, if you're a Virginia student and you take the Virginia Standards of Learning test and you passed, that doesn't necessarily mean anything in North Carolina, much less Oregon. But if you're a Virginia high school student and you pass a Cisco Systems Administrator exam, you can take that credential, move to Oregon, and get a job tomorrow. These industry credentials are in many ways more known, more valued, and more portable than high school credentials state by state. Schools across the country are providing this kind of important learning opportunity. Just 2 examples, and then I'll conclude. In Alexandria, just across the Potomac, the Academy of Finance at T.C. Williams High School instructs students in money management skills, financial planning, and business development. Students complete a 3-year sequence program, start working at an on-site in the school credit union, and they get early college credit for that financial literacy. In the other end of the state, Southwest Virginia, Vinton, near the city of Roanoke, William Byrd High School, after struggling during the 1990s to prepare students for college and career, the school sought input from nearby businesses, and they implemented programs in engineering, communications, and business and marketing to match local job needs. These partnerships are helpful in helping students find jobs, and they've also engendered student interest in curriculum. The school has a 90% graduation rate. 83% of students go on to post-secondary education. I want to thank Senators Portman and Baldwin. I think Senator Portman was planning on speaking and may still. Senator Portman and Baldwin for working with me together on this particular amendment and on the Senate CTE caucus. I urge my colleagues to support this bipartisan initiative. And again, I thank the bill managers for working with us together on it. And with that, Mr. President, I'd be glad to yield the floor.